Okay, good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. and we will call the regularly scheduled Hutchinson Utilities Commission meeting to order. Commissioners, do we have any conflicts of interest to declare?
None.
No conflicts. Move on to the consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Kathy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Takes us to the financial statements. Jared?
Don't have a ton. Thought I'd mention that next month you'll see the cash go down quite a bit. I made a $3 million bond payment today, actually. So
That'll do it.
that'll be a big drop next month. As far as this month, the biggest difference in the electric from last year is we paid the VMF lighting, field lighting. That was $250,000 roughly. So if you take that away, we actually had a fairly decent month. That's really has to be an expense because we don't own it, so we can't capitalize it. So we just threw it in operating expenses. Other thing to mention is you'll notice the salaries are higher. I had to look back, and it looks like I goofed up the entry last year in October of 23 for the accrued wages. So in our new software, I have to accrue back a certain percentage. I calculated as 70 that needed to go back, and I must have done the opposite and did 30. So that's the difference in why the wages. The next month it'll be the exact opposite when you see that. Other than that, that should be about it. Everything else was pretty similar. The gas would be the same thing in the wages. That's all I have.
Anything else?
Yeah,
Jen?
I didn't really have anything of note. I thought it was trending the way it was supposed to or where I anticipated, so.
Out of curiosity, how many customers do we have in the electric customers that we have that are industrial class? 2 customers?
2 cus,
3 meters, isn't it?
3 meters.
2 customers.
4, yeah. So,
Because we're up, that's the only rate class that we're up on a year-to-date basis, but it's because of the example you gave before. So somebody was down part of the year last year?
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Anyone care to make a motion to approve the financial statements?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Open forum. We do not have any guests today. Takes us right to communication. And City Administrator, Matt.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. First off, don't have a whole lot. We're in the middle of doing budgets ourselves. So our annual public hearing, Truth and Taxation, is this coming Tuesday at 6 o'clock at City Center, if you really want to know about our budget. So, that's it.
Thank you. Go over to the divisions. Dave?
The fall's been pretty good for us. We've this week we finished up all the new services that are ready to be installed and completed a new development up on 10th Avenue. It's all that we completed last week, so we're pretty much caught up in all the underground. So.
Good. Mike?
The tower pump install and side stream filter install should be wrapping up by the end of next week down in Plant 1. So Plant 1's been tagged during that project. The LM6000 final phase should be kicking off next week. So the plant will be down for roughly 2 weeks. As long as everything goes well, LPT should be on site beginning of next week. And the GE crew should be on site on Tuesday. They'll be traveling on Monday. That should be going well. Early December, the stacks from 3 and 4, the 2 Worthingtons that we decommissioned a couple years ago. Fairview Mechanical will be on site early December to take those down for Sterling Energy. So you'll see those disappear. Just kind of wrapping up the end of the year stuff.
All right. Jared?
Nothing for me.
Angie?
We have filled our natural gas crew chief position. So Jeremy and I worked on that the last couple of weeks, so that is finalized. Budgets are, the benefits, as you know, that's been finalized now, so we can move forward with that. And next month, we will be having Jeremy's review. Next week, end of next week, I'll probably send you the review packet with his task list, and you guys can review that. Troy, if you have any questions, just give me a call,
Okay.
and I can walk you through that process.
Very good, thank you. And back to you, Jeremy.
Just wrapping up stuff for the year end, budgets, capital stuff, some board information, working on legislative stuff's coming around, the new legislative sessions, so working on legislative priorities for MMUA and MMGA, things of that nature, so. Try to take a little time off here in December before it starts back up, but just wrap up year end stuff.
You anticipate much change in St. Paul with the balance of power?
I don't
The
think
energy?
significantly. You know, the governor's still in play there for 2 more years. I don't see as much at the state level as I do maybe at the federal level. I mean, they'll certainly try to, but you know, it's a split. Also, so I don't anticipate a whole lot going on. You know, there will be some energy bills that will still try to come forward, and some tweaks that will try to be made. But I don't know that it's going to get a ton of traction this year. So,
Okay.
but I'll certainly let you know if I'm hearing something come down the pipeline. So.
Sounds good. Any questions?
Okay.
All right. Looks like we have a handful of policies for review and then a few for changes. Back to you, Angie.
So for delegation of authority, we're just removing the natural gas director as the second person in charge when the GM is absent. That is being moved to enter the engineering services manager, and then just updating the below paragraph as well to reflect that change.
Okay.
And then for the next one, payments of the utilities, we're just updating that for the year 2025. And for the last one, the policy on purchasing, we're just updating, we're taking out the director position because now we'll just have managers here. So we're just cleaning up some of that verbiage.
Seems pretty straightforward. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve the changes as presented by Angie.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the 3 policy changes. Number 7 on the agenda is unfinished business, of which we do not have any. And so item 8A is approve the non-waiver of tort liability limits for general liability insurance.
Alright, this is that strange one we have to do every year for insurance.
Double negative?
Yep, where we do not want to waive the tort limit that's statutory, so.
So not waiving keeps our liability limited.
Right.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-waiver of tort liability limits for general liability for the upcoming policy period.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion by Anthony and second by Troy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8B, back to you, Jared, to
Alright.
approve the customer uncollectible write-offs.
These are the write-offs for the year. It's a little higher than last year. Probably half of it's a restaurant in town that went bankrupt. So that's why otherwise it'd be pretty similar to the year before.
Okay.
Asking to approve the $11,385.26 as write-offs.
I make a motion to approve the write-offs.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Kathy and second by Matt to approve the write-offs. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8C, we have approval of the interconnect and natural gas firm transportation capacity agreement for UNG Brown. Jeremy.
So the 4th and final contract. So finally got the City of Broughton approved at their November 12th meeting, the contract with UNG, and so they sent it to me, and so it's in front of you to kind of finalize that last piece of those 4 contracts in place. And really the important piece of this contract is it's really an acknowledgement by the Utility Commission that there is an agreement in place between UNG and Broughton to allow Broughton to flow gas through their interconnect station onto their pipeline to get it into town. So contract's really with those two, but we need to have it in place before we can get into a commodities agreement with them and do their transportation, because without UNG allowing them to pass it through their interconnect station, they wouldn't be able to get the gas. So that's the last piece in front of you. And again, have these all in the same term, a 5-year term. So these are all going to be expiring November 1st of 2029. So I would anticipate some coming back in October of that year to renew all 4 of these again. So we have a good relationship with all the counterparties in place, so we work well together. So
They did all the negotiating and we're just giving the blessing.
Yeah, I basically sent them the contract and said, you two need to, if there's any tweaks that need to be made, let me know. Most of it was with UNG, because there's a transportation interconnect fee in there to have them transporting. And when I talked with Darb at UNG, so even if we want to raise it, they can't afford it anyway. So we're fine with the rate as is. We're good partners with that community, and so they were fine with it, and Lori was fine with it, and the council was fine with it. So they're going to continually want to flow gas on their distribution system down there, so they need these in place.
Okay. Any other questions for Jeremy?
Nope. I'll make a motion to approve acknowledgement of the interconnect agreement between the City of Brownton and UNG.
Second.
Motion by Troy, second by Anthony. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That brings us to the 2025 Audit Services Agreement with Conway, Deuce, and Schneesing. Jared.
They are looking for 30,000 this year, so I included the past years, so right in line, somewhat modest increase there. You can see he's looking at January 20th. I'm trying to push him back at least a week there, so, but other than that, yeah, approving for 30,000 for Conway.
And on the surface, it seems like that's a pretty reasonable number and market
Yeah.
competitive.
I've talked to a previous commissioner, and she was on the board, and she went out for RFPs a few times, and she said they were always way below. We might still do it next year just to get a feel for what's out there.
We just entered into one with one of the agencies that sit on that has anywhere near the transactions here, and that's $50,000 from Deloitte and Touche. So that's what I have to say. So yeah, these guys are pretty competitive.
And from what I understand, we've always been happy with their services.
But they do a good job. So
I'd make a motion to approve the contract with CDS.
I'll second.
Motion by Anthony, second by Matt to approve the audit service contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Next, we have approval of requisition number 10068, the City of Hutchinson LED streetlight conversion project. Guess that's to you, Jeremy. Oh no, it stays.
We've completed our 3rd year of the conversion this year. This requisition is for year 4. So there's 2,022 lights in town. We've converted so far to 1,231. So we have a couple, 3 years left of conversion. So we like to order them now this time of year, so the delivery is typically in February or March. It allows us to get started on them kind of in that spring, late winter time. So
Okay.
that's what we're asking to do for our 4th year.
You said 2 or 3 left?
Probably 3 years left. We have 2 years of probably replacing just the heads that are there, and then we have a last year that we'll work with the city. We have some we're taking that last year to take the old wood poles. If we have anything in the any old poles, and change those out. But between us doing the conversion and road projects, I anticipate 3 will be complete pretty easily.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Rec 010068, the LED streetlight conversion.
I'll second.
Motion by Matt, second by Troy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8F, approved contract for Hutchinson Substation capacitor voltage and potential transformers to Border States Electric. Jeremy.
yep. So this is kind of you guys approved awarding the bid, I think last month with Border State. So this is just kind of final transaction. The board needs approved to actually get into the purchase agreement and contract with Border State for this portion of the project. So DGR reviewed it, staff and Dan and I reviewed it, so everything looks kosher and as need to be related to the bid. So asking you guys to approve this contract for Border State. They were the lowest bidder on both segments of the bids. So, good customers, good vendor. We have do a lot of business with them, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the Hutchinson substation capacitor voltage and potential transformers contract.
I'll second.
Motion by Kathy and second by Anthony. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, 8G, approve advertisement for bids on the Hutchinson substation construction.
So one more phase, this is for all the construction, site work, design and build, or to build a site out there. So we're asking the board to approve advertising for bids for this kind of final piece of the project, one of the bigger pieces of the project. We're anticipating hopefully getting 5 to 6 contractors that will bid on coming out and doing the site work, building out the substation, things of that nature. So, so they're just asking for you guys to approve advertising for bid, and then we'll get the advertisement sent out. We'll get the bid documents out to the contractors that do this type of work, and see what we can get back. Anticipating having them back by January 15th. So we're giving them a little bit extra time to bid in this project because there's a lot of moving parts on these substation projects. So that was just important to give them a little bit extra time.
Some holiday season in here too.
Some holiday season as well. So we want to get the best bids possible with the most amount of competition. So.
Any questions?
Make a motion to approve the advertisement for bids, Hutchinson substation construction improvements.
Second.
Motion by Troy and second by Kathy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Last item on the agenda today is 8H, discussion of the appointment of Tom Lambert to the Hutchinson Utilities Commission. Generally, we have this discussion and make recommendation to the council for that appointment. So we'll open it up for discussion or questions. We allowed time for all commissioners to reach out and speak with him if you wanted to. I've spoke with him. Jeremy, did you get a chance
I
to?
have not had a chance to yet, but I will.
Okay.
Mhm.
I know he was recommended by the mayor. I sat down and chatted with him, and he has a pretty strong interest in the commission. So, we'll-
I sat down with him too. It could be a good fit. Has it been approved by the city council?
When does it go to the
That'll be
council
next month.
When will you take it to the council? You have your second Tuesday, and when's your other one?
Yeah, so we meet December 10th and 19th.
And 19th.
This next month.
So it'll be one of those 2 days they'd have to,
Sure.
ratify that. Have them come on in January, be sworn in. And we also, guys need to think about officers coming up too.
We just did that, didn't we?
Yeah.
It always
So-
seems like it.
I'll go back and look at stuff, and I'll send you guys an email on, because there's only so many people are eligible, I think, for the officer positions yet, so. So we got a little bit of time. Do you have a preference, Matt, as far as the 10th or the 19th, as far as anything coming forward?
No, it doesn't really matter. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. So.
Okay. Anyone care to make a motion to?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn by Troy.
Second.
Second by Kathy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.